Hello there and welcome to the last video of Asexual Awareness Week. I just hosted a Halloween party, so I'm in costume, and I figured that today we could talk about asexual characters. When I first heard about asexuality about 5 years ago, there weren't any characters that I knew to be asexual. So, like a lot of groups do when they're underrepresented in media, I thought about characters that could be asexual, and that's how I started reading fanfiction. That's not even a joke. Nowadays though, there are a lot more canon asexual characters, meaning that asexual awareness is spreading, and also that people are realizing the importance of having visibly asexual characters in their media. Now this is something I've only looked into a little bit, so if I'm missing any canon asexual characters, please let me know. I would love to find out about more. As it is, I know about 3 officially canon asexual characters. Number 1 is Jughead from the Archie Comics. Now, the Archie Comics have been around for a long time, like quite a bit longer than I have, but more recently it's been noted in the comic that Jughead is asexual. He is not interested in girls, and he's just not interested in relationships. He'd much rather be eating a good burger. I haven't seen Riverdale, so I can't say whether or not his character is true to that in the show, but I've heard it's possible to read him that way. The second official asexual character is Todd from Bojack Horseman. I would be pretty surprised if you're on the internet and haven't heard about this show. It's got quite the following. And this character, Todd, is asexual and comes out as such in the show more than once. Todd is really interesting representation because he's not what you would think of as the stereotypical asexual. He's not a character who's uptight or considers himself above all that. He just doesn't experience sexual attraction. And it's definitely not a show that's geared specifically towards asexual people, so I think it's probably spreading awareness. And the third character I know about is Raphael Santiago from Shadowhunters. Now I haven't seen the show at all, and I don't really know that much about it, but when I was looking for official canon asexual characters, I found out about him. From what I've read, he is a vampire who is asexual, and when asked about it, he said he's always felt this way, and it's not something that's happened just because he turned into a vampire. I think this is also interesting representation because he's not white. And I do know that there are canon asexual characters in things like webcomics and web series, but there are so many of those to go through, and a lot of them are made by asexual creators, so that's great. But what I was specifically looking for here was characters in mainstream media, things that would reach people who maybe aren't already aware of asexuality. Unfortunately, there still aren't a lot of those, but there are quite a few characters who are fanon asexual, or characters that people consider to be on the ace spectrum, whether or not the creators agree. One of those you may be familiar with is Sherlock. In almost every iteration of this character, Sherlock is pretty much a textbook asexual. He doesn't experience, or at least express, attraction towards anyone, and I know a lot of people ship him with Watson, but consider asexual people can still be in relationships. Another character that is pretty much asexual is Charlie Weasley from Harry Potter. Actually, JK herself has said that he's more interested in dragons than he is in girls. While this could be interpreted as he is gay, she probably would have said that. She does have a tendency to say characters are gay after all the books are done. As I was going through this list, I realized that pretty much all the characters were men, so I figured I'd mention a girl. You may have heard of a little series called The Hunger Games, and its main character, Katniss Everdeen. If you haven't read the books, I'll tell you right now, there is no reason why she shouldn't be considered at least demisexual. In the movies, this and many other things were just completely erased, including her race, is a reason why I don't particularly like those movies, like erasing race, class issues, disabilities, asexuality. That aside, Katniss Everdeen is a great example of an asexual spectrum character who is in relationships. Another character with an assortment of relationships is the Doctor from Doctor Who. Now clearly the Doctor's gender and sexuality are probably fluid throughout regenerations, but it's not unreasonable to see quite a few of the Doctors as a spectrum. The Doctor seems to like having a variety of companions, and a lot of them are completely platonic. Yes, there are a couple of examples you can point to where the relationship was clearly romantic or possibly more, but consider that asexual people can have children and still be asexual. That brings me to the end of my list, and also to the end of Asexual Awareness Week. I really appreciate all the support I've received with this project. I did not plan it in advance, but I'm happy with how it came out. I'm really happy to provide resources and support for other ace people out there. So thank you to everyone who has watched and joined me this week, and thank you so much to the people who have captioned my videos. That is so important and such a huge help. If you haven't already, fill out the Asexual Community Census, that'll be linked below. Give this video a like, and I will see you next week.